G'day everyone, welcome to Trader Talk episode number 2. Now we're here today to talk about the difference between coaching and mentoring. Now it's quite an interesting one because I've experienced both in my time and both serve a need and a purpose at different times. And I think a lot of people out there, I know including myself over the years, have got these two confused in terms of when you might need one over the other. Which one do you need now? Which one fits in where? So we're going to dig into that today. So let's get right into it. First things first, what is the difference between coaching and mentoring? So for me, coaching is more of an over-the-shoulder style of thing, while mentoring is a bit more hands-off. So if you think of this in sports, right? For example, let's look at Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi might have a mentor who's external, and that might be more of a long-term sort of a thing, whilst his coach day-to-day is helping him improve on the skills and the techniques that help him become a better trader right then and there. So let's dig into it. And I think one thing to note as well is that real-time coaching, if you can find somebody to provide you with real-time coaching, that is probably the best way of learning. So that's basically you sitting alongside somebody while they're trading or while they're working and really seeing their processes day to day, especially if they're somebody who you respect, who you want to become like, and somebody who has the results that you want to achieve. So let's dig into it. There's 7 different areas of this whole trading, coaching and mentoring thing that I want to cover, and that might help you dig into which particular side of it, whether you're looking at a coach or you're looking at a mentor, and how to best get the most out of it. So the first one is the time frame. So for coaching, generally speaking, trading coaching is basically a shorter term time frame thing where there's a specific outcome in mind. This can of course be longer, but generally that's goal dependent. Whilst on the mentoring side of things, those relationships are generally more longer term, you know, your 2, 3, 5 years sort of a thing. The next thing is focus, and the focus generally of the coaching side of things is a lot more performance driven and specifically around P&L. The mentoring side of things is a little bit more development driven, and this comes from a holistic approach. So to give you an example, you might seek a trading coach to improve your strategy. Now, this might mean you're looking at different data and different numbers, but it's a very specific approach, a very specific focus. Whilst on the mentoring thing, you might just want to become an all-around good trader. So that approach might include things like your sleep, your diet, and any fitness regimes you might have. The next thing is the structure. Now, coaching is generally a lot more structured, where you've set regular intervals with your coach to work through whatever things you might want to achieve. Whilst on the mentoring thing, they're more of an as-need basis, and they're a lot more informal, generally speaking. And that will generally be driven by the mentee. Next is the expertise. Now, generally, if you're a coach and you're a client of that coach, you're seeking out that person to begin with because you're hiring them for their expertise and experience in a specific area that you want to improve. Now, excuse me. Now that changes because it's the mentee that's out there seeking it. While on the mentoring side, it's the other way around. So the mentor is providing the expertise and experience to the mentee. So it's a different sort of flow of information. And that sort of flows onto the agenda as well. Now with a coaching agenda, because the client will have their own needs and desires and things they want to achieve out of it, the agenda in a coaching relationship is done on a working together, like a cooperative basis to form the plan, the attack plan basically. Whilst the agenda for the mentor is generally set by the mentee, and the mentor's role is to support the mentee in that particular in that agenda, as opposed to driving them like in the coaching role. The next one is questioning, so the type of questions that would be answered between the two. Now for a coach, the coach is asking more thought-provoking questions, and this helps the trader make important decisions, recognize behavioral changes, and take action. Now, if you go to the opposite side, where the mentor, it's the mentee who's the one that's asking the questions. So, and it's tapping into their experience and expertise to really gain something out of that relationship. And the last and final one probably, I mean, they're all quite important, but this one is the outcome. Now, whenever we do go on these things, you always want some form of an outcome. And the outcome in coaching is generally specific and measurable. Now, you really want to measure yourself on showing signs of improvement or positive change in the desired performance area. So say, for example, you're working with a coach to improve your trading P&L, and the area that you're working on is your stops. So you want to be able to actually see data-wise that this is coming to fruition. Whilst on the mentoring side of things, this can shift over time, and there's less interest in specific things, but it's more overall development of the trader over the long period. And this can obviously be across a lot of things, as we mentioned before. So what a lot of people ask is generally, when do you actually need a coach and when do you need a mentor? So it's quite interesting. I mean, for me, when I wanted to improve on specific areas of my trading is when I've seeked out a coach. So if I'm looking to develop a new strategy, optimize a strategy, or even like as a new person, if you're looking to find your niche and you're looking to get profitable and get consistent, that's really when you should probably work with a coach the most. And when you need a mentor is probably when you're a bit further down the line and you're just looking for that continuous improvement. It's more along the lines of, you know what you've got to do, you've got confidence within yourself, but occasionally you just need that person from the outside to just be like, hey, have you seen this? Have you seen that? And just giving you some insights from their experience on ways in which you can improve that possibly you don't know. And working on areas around trading that aren't trading. I think a lot of us sometimes forget that trading's not all just about looking at the charts, and a lot goes into it. You know, I myself have been guilty of not focusing on other areas such as like food, the right diet and the right sleep. But sometimes we need that mentor and that person to be like, hey, you know, how has this been and how has this been? And it makes you think. It's like, well, you know what, I can improve in that area as well. Might not be, it's very hard to measure the impact that has on your P&L, like the coaching side of it, but it's still a very important aspect as you grow as a trader. So that pretty much finishes us up today. We've covered a bit. If you've got any questions, shoot me a message, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good week.